We're just a shadow of the football club that we once were. And the most painful thing about this entire escapade is I don't feel angry. I don't feel emotional. I don't feel like I need to rant or vent. It just feels like there is almost a begrudging acceptance as to who Chelsea are now. Chelsea Football Club are now a team who can't really compete with Fulham. Any Chelsea fan that you ask about this fixture, if you were to ask any Chelsea fan, wherever they're watching in the world, or if they were in that away end, going to Fulham away, under normal circumstances, you go, we beat them. Of course we beat them. Not only do we beat them, but we buoy them off a bit. We make them like our little brother. Going there today, they were always going to beat us. They were always going to beat us. Do you know why? Because they're a buoyant team. We are a deflated team. They have an excellent manager. We do not have a proper manager. They are an institution that know exactly who they are. They have an identity. We are a shambles. And as a result, we were always going to get done by Fulham. This isn't about Liam Delap scoring his first goal for Chelsea in the Premier League. This isn't about that idiot Marc Cucurella. I mean, if there is a theme this season, to sort of dictate why this ownership and this sporting director's model is so wrong, it has to be the fact that we basically have players sent off constantly. It has to be the fact that there is no experience in the team. It has to be the fact that there is no clear experience, now understanding about going to a London derby. Like, whatever you say about Fulham, however flat it can be, it's their cup final. When they welcome Chelsea, it's their cup final. It matters to them. And we need to therefore raise our game because they do have it in us to get a result against us. We saw it years ago. Do you remember when we had to invade the pitch? Do you remember when there was all that? They came on the pitch. We always used to sing, you got run on your own pitch, like it's happened before. So what we have to do when we play them is we have to go there and we have to take the game to them. And the way that you do that is you have one of the most prodigious talents in the world at the time in Arjen Robben, totally blitzing them. You have David Luiz scoring from 40 yards. You have Frank Lampard totally dictating the game. What do we have? Of course they can get a result against us because we are nothing. Who are we? Who's our identity? Who is going to make sure that Chelsea elevate the standards against Fulham to match their standards? Because we're better than Fulham. We're a bigger club than Fulham. But if they raise their game and we don't, what's going to happen? And then you look at the individuals. You look at the players that are playing for Chelsea. You look at who is in our first 11. And then you suddenly realise that actually they're better. They have a far better manager. Marco Silva is a far better manager than what Chelsea have. Marco Silva is a far better manager than Liam Rossini. And I'll tell you what, Liam Rossini better be the boy that they think he is. He better be the man that they think he is. Because what they deem as success, which is completely gaslighting, by the way, but what they deem as success is top 4 qualification. We sit 2 points below Brentford. We sit 2 points below Keith Andrews' Brentford. And somehow now, Liam Rossini needs to look at this Chelsea squad. And I'll tell you what, he should have been in charge today. It was pretty pathetic from him to not be in charge today. But the second Marc Cucurella goes off, we know how that's going to go. The second, in fact, that you look at the starting lineup and you see that Reece James is not there, you basically know that Chelsea are beatable. And there are some very uncomfortable conversations that are coming because there are so many players in this Chelsea camp that are potentially going to have to leave. Like, what is in it for Cole Palmer to be at Chelsea? What is in it for Moises Caicedo to be at Chelsea? What is in it even for one of our own Reece James to be at Chelsea? And when you look at our starting 11, you've got a back pairing of Trevor Chalobah and Tosin Adarabioyo. Like, Tosin Adarabioyo doesn't get in a QPR team. Like, that's not a joke. Jimmy Dunn gets in. If you were to do a combined 11 of Chelsea and QPR, the one player that gets in from QPR is Jimmy Dunn. And how bonkers is that? Tosin Adarabioyo is not a Premier League player. I mean, that geezer, that Anderson who plays centre-half for Fulham, would start for us immediately. Immediately. I'd say Leno's probably a better keeper than Sanchez overall. And then you're looking at players like Harry Wilson, you're looking at Emil Smith-Rowe, Jimenez. I tell you what, if there's one player to mark, when the ball gets launched into the box, it's probably Jimenez. But the football is almost incidental now. It's almost got to the stage where the goings on the pitch are almost irrelevant. We have so much bigger things to worry about than 3 points at Craven Cottage. We have so much bigger things to worry about than did Liam Delap link up well with Pedro Neto. Who cares about Liam Delap, really? Equally, who cares about Pedro Neto, really? What we are discussing here is the survival of Chelsea FC. Chelsea Football Club. Not CFC LDN. Not this horrific rebrand that these despicable owners seem intent on. Chelsea Football Club needs to survive. And do you know what? On some level, today could be a good day. Like, it always feels bad to lose. It always feels bad to lose at Fulham. It always feels horrific, in fact, to lose at Craven Cottage, because it just shouldn't happen. Like, when we were winning leagues, they weren't even in the division. When I was a kid, you could go to Craven Cottage. I'm not even joking. When I was a kid, you could go to Craven Cottage when they were in the 4th tier, and you could just kick the ball about. I remember my mate, one of my really good mates who lived in West Kent, his mum used to give us a football and go and kick the ball about at Fulham. So we would walk through to Fulham's ground when they had the terrace in behind the goal, and we would use it as if it were a park. You just go on and play as if it were your local park. That's what Fulham were when I was a kid. And they've just beaten us. Beaten us well. Deservedly beaten us. And you look at the quality of the goal that was scored by Harry Wilson. Where's our invention? But the one positive that I can take from today is, you know that expression about having to hit rock bottom? Things have to go so badly before they can get better. It's not about the football today. Something big happened. And I think that it could be a turning point. The Chelsea fans in that away end for 45 minutes, for the entire second half, didn't sing about Cole Palmer's brilliance. We didn't sing about our own team. We didn't sing about our dominance in Europe. We sung about Egbali. We sung about BlueCo. And if that can happen away, I always believe that if you lose the away fans, you ultimately lose the club. If you lose the away support, it will ultimately permeate into the home support. Your home ground will become toxic. It will become like an away ground. It will become a cauldron for Liam Rosenior. And at some point, BlueCo will either have to sell, change the model, give it up, or accept that they have got it wrong and change the strategy. But the fact that the away fans use this as an example of what can happen, the fact that we use this almost as the touch paper is lit, the divide is lit, the race to salvage something from this horrific situation that we're in, the race, in fact, to save Chelsea Football Club. Because these American venture capitalists, are trying to destroy the club from the inside out. They are trying to rebrand us. We have an owner who is linked to third-party ticket touting websites. We have season ticket price increases. All the while, we don't have a front of shirt sponsor. This is unsustainable. And the fact that now the fans felt like we were in unison. It felt like that away end was completely and utterly unified. And if that happens, if there is a coming together, if there is a belief, if there is a movement against BlueCo, if Chelsea fans really do mobilise against BlueCo, we can be a force that they cannot compete with. We saw this with the Super League. The Super League, the brains behind and the money behind the Super League was far more powerful than BlueCo, and we stopped them. I was at that protest on the Fulham Road. I ended up arguing with Petr Cech. And we won. We won because we would not be defeated. And I wonder now if a defeat at Fulham could be one of the seminal days in our history, in the way that the Super League was one of the seminal days in our history, in football in this country, in fact. I wonder if the unification that we heard from that away end could potentially spread, and the protest that is going to be, I hope, raucous and loud before the Brentford game could gather traction and momentum and personnel and media coverage. I wonder if there is a way that could happen. I truly believe now that the fight for Chelsea Football Club is well and truly on. There is now a clear divide. There is now a clear good and bad. There is clearly now an enemy. There is clearly now a target. There is clearly now us versus them. It's Chelsea versus the board. It's Chelsea versus the ownership of BlueCo. And that, I think, is what we've learned today. Singing about Egbali for 45 minutes It's actually the victory that we needed. Cucurella's a moron for getting sent off, but I don't care. Liam Delap scored his first goal. Fantastic. Harry Wilson, yeah, you can sing about that, Fulham. But for us, maybe it's about what's to come next. For them, however, this is damaging because they need Champions League football. They believe that Champions League football is success. And we are now 2 points off Brentford. Manchester United are ahead of us by a point. It's not looking good, bruv, for Champions League football. And we know that that's what they need. I don't think we can make it. And Liam Rosenior coming in, he is in the job from now. His first game will be Charlton. But the fact that he's not even in the job yet, and there is already now this animosity towards BlueCo. And let's remember, through no fault of his own, Liam Rosenior is the public face of BlueCo. This could get incredibly toxic, incredibly hate-filled. And I think that this divide now, this disparity between the owners and the fans, not going to be good. But maybe this is what's needed. Maybe it has to be hateful. Maybe it has to be horrible. Because effectively what we are trying to do is save a footballing institution, a London institution, a British institution that needs protecting. No one else is going to do it. And what I heard from that away end, loud, for 45 minutes, is actually very inspiring and far more important than 3 points. 3 incidental points, by the way. 3 points that could go a long way to serving BlueCo more than it serves me. More than it serves Chelsea fans. Don't know if I'm just going mad here, but I kind of feel like the victory was ours. The victory belongs to Chelsea fans and the true essence of Chelsea Football Club. I don't know where we go from here. I really don't. Let me know your thoughts.